Hi everyone, welcome to Creative Stampin' Designs. Hope everyone's doing well today. Got a little bit of snow here today. When I was walking home from work, it was snowing out, so a nice white covering. Hi Jamie, how are you? Alright, I'm going to get started, and I will try to read comments, but I'm not going to promise anything since I have a little bit of a problem doing that. Hi Amy. So I thought I was all done doing Christmas cards, and then my husband informed me he needed a card, hi Karen, from their whole department. He needed a Christmas card, so that's what I'm doing today. And Jamie will be so pleased with me because, of course, the set, there's 6 people in his department, and I always try to put 6 of something. So that's why I went with this set, because there were the 3 bunnies, the 2 polar bears, and the reindeer. I didn't count the mice because it's all guys in their department, and they need the card for their supervisor, who is a woman. So she's not in it. And this set does not come with dies, and I sat and I stamped them and I cut every one of them out, but I did it ahead of time. I wasn't doing it live. There was no way I was doing it live. And then I started coloring, and then I decided I could finish coloring live because it wasn't all that much. But, so let me just get started here. I'm going to do the card base first, and then I'll actually, let me show you the card base. Oops, blocks are falling. Okay, my card base is Night of Navy, and it is 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and it is scored at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 6 7/8. All the measurements will be on my blog on Friday. Okay, I'm doing a bridge card. Okay, so I am going to these 2. I need my bone folder. These 2 panels we're going to fold in, this side and this side, and then these 2 we're going to fold out. Oops, as I drop it. And since my husband needed this card, I made him pick everything. So he picked the DSP, he picked the sentiment, he picked everything. I'm just putting it together. So this is the way the card is going to, it'll stand up like that. Okay, so it'll kind of like a, what's it called, diorama, or I'm not sure. But it'll be able to stand and be on display. Okay, so let me, you know what, I want to color these guys in to get them out of the way so they can dry a little bit. So the Stampin' Blends on the side. I asked him colors too. Okay, he's a guy. I'm gonna admit he's wasn't good with some of the colors, and he's sitting there telling me colors, and I'm going, really? You want that color? So, okay, so we are going to color the reindeer, if I can get the right, had them in order. Okay, I started coloring him with the light crumb cake, and I'm just going to finish up, and I'm not really doing much shading. I'll put a little bit in. I did not cut in here, Jamie. I wasn't attempting that. I was afraid I'd cut the deer's leg off. Thanks, Karen. Hi, Rosie. Last night when we had our meeting, Jamie, I thought about asking you if I can FedEx them out to you so you can cut them for me, and then have them sent back to me for today. But I realized at that point it was going to be a little too late. So I figured, well, what's the worst that can happen? I cut somebody's leg off or head off, and then I have to start again. But this was a set. I really wish they would have made dies with this set. And I'm sure Amy would agree with me with that one. They just, I don't know. When there's this many cute little pieces and you want to cut them out, I think the dies with this set would have been perfect. Don't forget, get the clearance rack has been updated, and we've got the big giant year-end closeout going on right now. I took advantage of a couple things from the clearance rack. I ordered myself just to have some extra blends on hand, because I'm hoping eventually, once this pandemic goes away, that I can start doing classes again. So I figured if I had some extra, it would be easier to decide to color. Plus, I'd rather have the extra ones and let the people that come use the older ones and keep the new ones, so when the old ones wear out. Ooh, speaking of older ones, I'm thinking this one's starting to wear out. There we go. Just doing a little bit of blending. I'm going to leave his tail. I'm not going to do anything with that. Leave his tail a little bit whiter. Yeah, now it's blending better. So is everybody done or getting Christmas shopping done? What is that? No starting over. Oh, just hide. No, I know you don't like fussy cutting, Amy. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I am getting used to doing it because there's too many things I want cut out, so I don't really have much of a choice. And we're going to leave that little spot later on the hip too. Alright, so that's all with him. And then Amy taught me a little trick. Thank you, Amy. Which I want to give the polar bear just a little shading, but I don't want too much color because he's supposed to be white. So I'm going to put a little color on, but then I'm going to take it off. So it'll leave a little bit. It'll leave just a shadow. Oops. My dog decided to come walking up or down the steps. Good time. She's still having issues. I put the smoky slate on, and now I'm just using the color lifter to take it off. And it's just going to leave a little shadow. Just enough so there's a little bit of color. He's not going to be going on top of on white. If he was on white, then I would leave a little bit more. And as it dries, it gets lighter. That's all. Just to give a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit on his hand. And I'm just putting the shading on one side. I did a little bit on that side, but mainly on the left side I put it. Just move this a little bit more. That's why I wanted to do these first, so that they have time to dry. Hi, Jillian. Thanks for joining. All right. Wrong colors here. Okay, I'm just going to do the deer's bow with a little bit of cherry cobbler. I'm just going to blend it with the light. And the only thing I have left is the sleigh to color. Okay, and I got a little close to the edge here. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the color lifter to that off. All right, I'm just going to, I did the top of the sleigh with the dark real red. I'm just going to do the bottom with the light real red. Just so it had a little contrast. Like I said, I'm not really doing much blending with this. It's more I'm just coloring them in. The Stampin' Blends markers are really very forgiving. They don't leave lines. As you can see, I'm coloring every which way. And it leaves it just a nice smooth finish. I think I had the little, okay, there is one more areas. We're just going to add a little bit of gray to him, because again, he's a polar bear, so he's supposed to be white. I'm just going to put right in the creases. And then I'm just going to lighten it up with the color lifter. Put a little bit down here. Like that. All right, we're going to set them on the side just so they can dry a little. Oops, you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of ivory just in the bunny's ears. We're going to leave the bunnies white, but I'll put just a little, just to add a little bit of color right in their ears. Okay, and that's it with the coloring. I did do the polar bear's scarf. I did ahead of time, and I did it in Balmy Blue, and I did the bunny's scarf on this one in Just Jade. Just put those on the side for now. All right, now we're going to work on this part. Okay, so for the front, I have 4 pieces of DSP. So just open this up. We're going to put these 2 on the 2 inner panel. I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue so I have a little bit of wiggle room in case I don't get it in the right spot. Yeah, I like all these characters too, Rosie. I've used this set quite a bit. I was pretty sorry to see that it's retiring. All right, let's see. And I did what I didn't want to do. I wanted to match up my snowflakes. I know I used the right side. There we go. Okay, so we're going to try this again. Luckily, I pulled that up before the glue dried. Put this piece on this side. And these pieces are 1 1/4 inch by 4 1/8. Oh, a little bit extra glue there. So I got 4 of each panel, of each design. 2 for the back and 2 for the front of each design. Now we'll put this one over here. And I'm the only one that's going to know that that really matched up, but it's the OCD in me. Right, and then we're going to do the same with this one, but we're putting these on the outside. Whoops, just lost that one. Thanks, Karen. That actually wasn't my intention. It just worked out that way. Originally, I was using red and green paper for today. At least that's what I thought I was going to use. Okay, so we have the front pieces on. You know what? Since I'm gluey already, I'm going to put the back pieces on also. So I'm going to flip it over. This is where everybody will be able to sign on this little panel. So I'm going to do the opposite on the back. So the ones that were on the outside are going to go on the inside now for the back. And then this one will go over here. And then we're going to switch and we'll put the other 2. These were the inside pieces, and we're going to put those on the outside. But I have to make sure my snowflakes match up. There, and then this one will go on the other side. So the back will be like this. Okay. All right. Those are all on. So that I'm nice and gluey. All right. We're going to put the snow on, which I cut all these pieces. These were cut from the In the Pine, or I'm sorry, Pine Wood Dies. I cut two of this one and one of this one, and as I cut them, and then I cut the cardstock too. They're each about like 1.25 inches, just so they would measure up. And I did cut out trees and all, because I wasn't sure what I was putting on this, so I did cut out trees just in case. So we're gonna first, I'm gonna adhere this one just with glue dots, sticking to them, on the bottom, because the little critters are going to be sitting in between. So this one's going to line up on the bottom. And I'm just going to put, I guess, like 3 glue dots just to hold them. The glue dots are pretty strong. They take a second. Once you, I mean, you can lift them up once you put them on, but then once they're there, they hold pretty well. Okay, so that's going to be like that. And then what I'm going to do, let me adhere this piece too. I just cut a piece of silver foil that I'm going to put along the bottom. Now these pieces are all 5.5 inches because the card will fit in a regular envelope. Just going to adhere this. Right along, I know I'm getting my hand right in the way, right along the edge. There we go. Give it a good press. And this one I'm going to actually adhere it a little lower. Okay, but before I do, I want to stamp just from the, I used In the Pines. I'm getting it, I got the name wrong. The In the Pines set, there's the one little image, it kind of looks like snow, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm just going to stamp it in a couple places. You're really not going to, you might see some of it, but just so it, give it a little. And I'll stamp a couple on these too. Like I said, I'm not sure how much of it you'll see, but if you're just, so you can see there's a little, oh, this one didn't even stamp. And we're going to leave it. I'm not going to chance that one. All right, then this piece I'm going to adhere on top with dimensionals, because I want this piece lifted up a little, so I can put the little critters inside. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to use my grid paper. Go down just a little bit. I'm going to put one along the bottom here. Actually, I put 2, because I think these will be hidden. And if they're not, I can get them off easy enough. those? Yep, those will be hidden. I didn't check that beforehand. All right, and I'm just going to put this piece, just line up the one side. Actually, I'm going to use the grid paper, make sure I get it. And go straight across. So then that one is held. Now this is what's going to hold the whole card together. But then when you put it in the envelope, you just flatten it out like that. Okay, but let's do the inside before I put that on, because this will be a little more difficult to adhere. Now, hopefully there's going to be room here. I actually have my Stamparatus lined up because I know Jamie has said about having trouble. I have my ink seems to be, it's not as juicy as it normally is. So I figured I would use the Stamparatus so I can go over a couple times. So I'm using Night of Navy ink. I'm just going to stamp up the sentiment. Hopefully I did have this lined up straight before. I'm going to come over just a tiny bit. That looks good. I'm going to give it a little press. You see how light it came out? So I'm going to go over again with a little more ink. Okay, we're getting a little bit better. I've tried re-inking my stamp pads, and it really, I think it's just the weather, and with the heat on in the house, just seems to dry them up a little bit. There we go. I think one more time and it'll be okay. It'll be as dark as I want it. I thought about doing the sentiment, embossing it in white, but I didn't. I tried on a little scrap and I wasn't really happy with the way it looked. Yeah, that's good. All right. And this was just another piece of the Snowflake Splendor DSP. Forgot the name of it. I think that's right. Yep, Snowflake Splendor. And I'm going to adhere this to a Whisper White mat. Just like I lost my liquid glue. I know I put it down. There we go. And then I'm just going to use a little liquid glue to adhere it to the center. Just like that. Like I said, I did cut trees out. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but the trees I can always slip in. And actually, this here, I am going to, I forgot to pull it out, sorry. I'm going to use a little tear and tape because this piece will be getting tugged on a little bit. So I'm going to just put some tear and tape on either side. Tear and tape will just give it that little extra hold. I'm only putting it on the top because the bottom piece has the dimensionals. So I will put a couple dimensionals for the bottom. But it's just for the top side. That'll really hold that piece in place. Just try to get this off. I'm going to line up the one side first. I'm going to go right to the edge with it. So it's right along the edge. And then, like I said, I'm going to slip a little dimensional underneath. And then we're going to fold this one and adhere this side. Make sure it's right along. And that's going to hold the card up. There. Let me just put the little dimensional, take the backing off and put the dimensional underneath. So it just holds the bottom part. But I need the straight edge down. I'm going to put 2 on each side just to be sure, since this, like I said, this is the part that gets moved the most. I love when the dimensional backs don't come off. Same thing over here. The one. And the second one. And this one here, I really don't care how thick it is because this is getting hand delivered. So I don't have to worry about that. All right, you know what? We're going to let's do the back real quick. Back is just a panel of Night of Navy and Whisper White, and just use the sentiment from, which one did I use? From Itty Bitty Christmas, the Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I wanted it to say from all of us, and the only one I had was from, well, the stamp set from all of us. And this one I did not put in my Stamparatus, so I'm going to hope that I get it nice and dark the first time. Just kind of get it in the center, but I'm going to put it toward the center top so there's room to sign. Try to line it up a little bit here. Keep that straight. Find out once I lift it. Looks pretty straight. And that's really it. I don't want to put anything on the back so that there's room for everybody to sign. So I'm just leaving that the way it is. And again, just adhering it to the Night of Navy mat. And then I'll just adhere this right to the back. Oh, hands are all gluey today. Make sure I have it the right way. Thanks, Jamie. Now, I haven't been following comments. I'm sorry. I'll go back. I usually go back and read them, answer them. This one here, I need to pay closer attention to what I'm stamping, what I'm doing here. All right, now we're going to decorate the front. So now we're going to put all these little critters in. And this guy, I put the silver on the bottom so I can put him ice skating. So I need, I gotta make sure I have the right, okay, he's got to be this way. Right? Gotta make sure I have the right skate down. Actually, both, I'll do it on both because the other piece will go right over there. And let's see what's... I'm going to start with just doing the two because I can always add the dimensionals, but if I put them in the wrong spot, then everything else is all sticky. And so we're going to put him, I guess, right about there. Like that. And I don't know if you can see how there's just a touch of color, just like around the edges. Like I said, that was something I saw Amy do and really liked the way it came out. We're going to put him up here like this. We'll put him in the snow. And we'll put him overlapping a little bit. Oh, my dog keeps going up and down the stairs and she keeps slipping. We had some of you no, I've told that we had our floors refinished. And she just keeps insisting on going up and down. She follows me when I go up and down. But I don't know why she just keeps just up and down constantly, and I'm afraid she's going to fall. We had to put little booties on her back paws so that, because every time she would come down the steps, her back legs would go out and she would slip, and I was afraid she was going to hurt her hip. All right, so we're going to put him right about there. And we're going to put these guys coming down the slope there. So we'll put a couple dimensionals on them. But again, I got to make sure, right in the back, where I'm putting. And then, like I said, I'll add a couple more. We're going to have this, so we're going to tuck this underneath the snow and have them coming down this way. I'll put another one up there. And then this little guy we're just going to have sitting right there. And again, I'll decide if I want to. Yeah, we'll put him right like that. And now, like I said, I'm going to go back now and I'm going to add a few more dimensionals because I know some of these pieces will flop around as soon as you go to move it. Just kind of slip these underneath. Slip another one under the bunnies. My husband was saying one of the guys from his department sings all the time. I said, okay, so he's one of the bunnies then. I don't know, they seem to have, I mean, everything's virtual. He only goes in a couple days a week, and when he goes in, he's by himself. Nobody else in the department goes in the same day he does. So they haven't really seen each other. I think one day during the summer, one of them had a little get-together at their house, and they said they all stayed, they're 6 feet apart. They all had their masks on the whole time. This one's going to be a tough one. That should hold like that. And then, let's see, the deer, he's pretty good. He's good, that's good. Actually, he's okay. Because he should be, we're going to curl him up a little bit like he's blowing in the wind, moving a little bit. Just like that. And then I did, like I said, I stamped a couple of the trees from, I stamped and cut tree. I wasn't sure what I was going to use, if anything. And I think I am going to slip a couple just to have something on the inside here. I'm going to put, let's see if I add this one in here. Just so there's something in the background. Yeah, I should have decided this before. Nope, that's going to be perfect. Put a little bit of glue on the bottom, just on the trunk. Maybe. You know what's going to happen. It's going to come out all at once. There we go. And I have tweezers I normally use, but they disappeared. This has happened before. They disappear and then they show up again. I don't know if somebody borrows them without asking. Not quite sure. Yeah, I think I'm just going to put that one there. And where's my cap? And like I said, you're not really going to see these, but it's just to give a little, so if somebody looks like inside the card, looks down in it, looks like there's just some trees in the back. So I'm just going to put this one on with some glue dots. I'll put it right over the top, and it fits right across the bottom. Oops. Like my other tweezers, I don't have to hold them. So it's just, like I said, it's just so you see the little trees inside. I don't know if you can, whoops, I wasn't holding it right. So it's just inside. So that's the front. And then you have the back. And I think what I'll do is just, I think I cut 2 of these little ones. I'll just put these on either side in the back. Again, nobody's really going to see them. Well, she will. This was a last-minute decision, the trees. As I was getting everything ready, I thought about it. I said, you know, just, it's supposed to be a snow scene. I don't know about you, but growing up, and even when I used to bring my kids, we would take them sledding. There were always trees in the way. Always trees. So there, that's the front. Do a quick finish on the envelope. Some of the Snowflake Splendor across the envelope flap. Thanks, Jillian. Thanks, Amy. trim this up real quick. And I think I'm just going to stamp on the front. I'm not going to stamp any of the critters on the front, because I really don't feel like coloring them. And I feel like if I stamp them, I have to color them. So we're just going to put some trees on the front. And those trees, by the way, that I had stamped them in Just Jade. So I cut these trees. I had cut these out of shaded spruce. And I liked shaded spruce and Just Jade together. So I put those together. Just stamp these on the front. That one. A couple of these on this side. And that, and I can't hold, I can't put it this way. That's the way you can really see the way it is, but, and then it just will fold as flat as possible. I mean, I put a lot of dimensionals, and I'll show you, it will fit right in the envelope. It just takes, because of all the dimension. If I didn't put all the dimensionals, it would slide right in. But because I put so many dimensionals, fits right in the envelope. So if you do the card, oops, I got to fix that. I'll fix that later. So if you make it and you don't put all the dimensionals, postage will not be much to mail. That's why I said I didn't care how bulky I made it, because they're hand delivering it. At least I'm assuming they're hand delivering it. Or my husband is. They're collecting for a Christmas gift. And there you have it. I hope you like this one. You'll give it a try. I think it's called a bridge fold. That's what I call it. Mainly because you put the bridge to hold it together. I have done other ones that this was the front and this was the back part. So I've done that also. You can flip it either way. But when I make them going this way, I do not put the bridge on the back. So this part would be the main the focal point, and then this is just like the background part of it. But I've done those. I've done it that way also, and it's really an easy card. Okay, this was a little more detailed, especially with all the fussy cutting, which I still can't believe I sat there last night fussy cutting all this, but I did. But that's it. Hope you guys liked it and you'll give it a try. I will be back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And don't forget, if there's anything from the, let me get it right now, June to December, August to December mini catalog. Everything, just about everything in the catalog will be retiring. And some of the stuff is marked at 50% off, some's 40, some's 30. You gotta, you can check it out on my online store. And also they updated the clearance rack, and there's a lot of goodies on that too. So the measurements and all the directions will be on my blog on Friday, creativestampingdesigns.com. And the video will be uploaded, and it will also be on my YouTube channel. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.